He thought it would save him, that smearing the foul, sticky alien dung over his skin would hide his scent from the hunting beasts. Instead, it summoned something worse. Behind him, the blue-skinned woman gasped, not in fear, but in fury. "You smeared what on yourself?" she shouted, eyes flaring like twin moons. "Fly Queen dung," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "You said it masks scent." "For corpses, you idiot," she snapped. "Now she thinks you're her chosen mate." A monstrous hum filled the air. Something golden and vast descended from the sky wings, beating slow, powerful. And the Fly Queen locked eyes with him. The hum in the air was changing. It was not the usual jungle buzz of wings and steam. It was deeper, older, a sound that did not belong on a map, but in a memory passed down through species who remembered fear before they learned language. The man wiped the back of his hand across his mouth, streaking another smear of oily, sickly green sludge across his cheek. He had no idea that with every stroke, he was rewriting his place in this ecosystem not as predator or guest, but offering. "Do you even know what that is?" the alien woman said, her voice shaking as she stepped toward him. He glanced over his shoulder. Her body was lithe, limbs longer than human proportion, wrapped in something between silk and membrane that shimmered with motion. Her blue skin glistened with humidity, but her expression, a twisted snarl between panic and disgust, was pure fire. "I just did what you said," he muttered. "Hide your scent. Mask yourself in local enzymes. I'm not a biologist." She grabbed his forearm hard. Her grip was too strong for someone so graceful. "That's not moss dung, that's queen scent bait. You just told the hive mother you're a blooming flower and she's starving." The jungle vibrated. A breeze swept through the clearing, heavy with warmth and sugar sweet, intoxicating, wrong. It curled around them like a lover's breath. From above, branches bent in unnatural ways, pushed aside by a shape descending through the canopy, too massive to be real. He turned slowly, heart in his throat. She did not look. She could not. Her people had laws. Her instincts were older than her words. Looking directly at the queen meant one thing: submission. But the man had no such instinct. He was human, curious, foolish, terribly alone. He looked, and the world tilted. The queen hovered, her body suspended by wings so wide they shimmered across the treetops. Her form was grotesque and majestic, all at once gleaming plates of gold chitin, pulsating throat sacs, eyes like melted amber. She was not a creature. She was a monarch of instinct, and now she was staring only at him. "I think she sees me," he said, breath hitching. "She doesn't just see you," the alien woman whispered through clenched teeth. "She's marked you." He stepped back, and she stepped in front of him, her back to the queen, her arms outstretched. "Do not move. Do not speak. Let me handle this." He wanted to obey. Truly he did, but something about the warmth on his skin, the way the scent curled inside his lungs, it made his head feel thick, his body unsteady. His gaze drifted sideways to her shoulder. Her skin pulsed faintly, glowing where veins ran close to the surface. He had never noticed that before. Had she always looked like this? "What's happening to me?" he asked, voice low. Her tone softened, though her body stayed tense. "It's the queen's influence. Her pheromones interact with your nervous system. They'll tell you what you want. You just have to remember what is real and what is instinct." "Is it affecting you?" She hesitated. "I was born here. I've been trained to resist it. But," her voice faltered, "the bond is not only chemical, it's emotional. And your emotions are loud." Their eyes met. And for a second, just one, the Fly Queen above them let out a different sound. Not a mating call, a warning. Someone else was approaching. They both turned at once. From between the roots of a massive fungus tree, a low drone began to rise, smaller flies, servants of the hive drawn to the queen's chosen. They would circle, bite, inject, and if the chosen mate survived the frenzy, he would be taken, lifted to the queen's chamber. made into something else. The woman grabbed his wrist. Run! Now! They sprinted through undergrowth that seemed to close behind them like breathing walls. Vines tried to catch their feet. Leaves shivered and recoiled at their passage. The jungle wasn't just alive, it was watching. He stumbled once, nearly fell, but she was already beside him, catching his elbow, pulling him forward with unexpected strength. They broke into a hollow, a basin of glowing mushrooms and soft, pulsing ground. It was quiet here. For a moment, she let go of him and turned away, breathing hard. Take it off. He blinked. What? The dung, the markings. Take them off your skin now. He started rubbing his arms, panicked. It's sticky. I need water. She walked over and without warning, grabbed his shirt collar and pulled it up and off in one sharp motion. Her hands were on his skin, spreading something from her own pouch, a paste that burned cold, like alien mint in starlight. He flinched. Ow! It's a neutralizer. You're lucky I have some. He looked at her, really looked. Why are you helping me? She paused, her hands still resting lightly on his chest. You looked at her, she said, and you didn't know. That is forgivable. Their faces were close. The jungle felt like it was holding its breath. But also, she added, voice softer now, you looked at me, before you looked at her. He did not know what to say, but he nodded, and just for a second beneath the pressure, the danger, the sweat and scent, something passed between them that was not fear, something very close to wanting. So, the paste she smeared across his chest crackled faintly on contact, eating through the fly queen's scent residue, with a sizzle like hot rain on stone. He could feel it working, the haze lifting from his mind, the heaviness behind his eyes clearing. But what remained was almost worse. Her. Not the queen, not the hive, just this woman who had stood between him and a death sentence, who had not run when he made a fool of himself, who right now was staring at the marks on his skin as if they told a story she had once lived and barely survived. What happens if she finds us again? He asked quietly. The alien woman did not answer immediately. She closed the pouch of neutralizer, wiped her palms against her thighs, then turned her eyes steady and tired toward his. She will not send more scouts. She will come herself. Her voice was even, but a thin tremor betrayed her. And if she reaches you, she will not ask again. His breath caught. Ask? She shook her head. The hive doesn't take prisoners. It claims what it marks. Emotion is not part of it. Just hunger, instinct, purpose. You looked at her. You responded. She thinks you're ready. He looked down at himself, ashamed. I thought I was just surviving. Her voice softened. You were. That is why I pulled you out. She stepped closer. You made a mistake, not a choice. His throat tightened. But if I had been one of you, if I knew, then you would have already been dead. Her words fell like stone, sharp and sudden. Silence stretched between them. Above, something distant shrieked, not close yet, but echoing. Time was thinning. The jungle was already shifting, reacting, drawing its circles tighter. There would be no more second chances. She turned and reached into the moss wall behind them. A crevice cracked open, revealing a soft tunnel lit by phosphorescent threads. Come, I know a place the queen cannot smell, but we must hurry. He followed, ducking low. The passage wound downward, pulsing with faint, organic light. At one point, the walls narrowed so tight their bodies had to press together to squeeze through. Her arm brushed his side. His breath stuttered. Neither spoke of it. Finally, they emerged into a small chamber round, covered in soft, glowing vines, the air warmer, calmer. This is a spore chamber, she said. The queen's senses do not reach here. The spores disrupt her network. He looked around. The walls glowed in rhythm with something, maybe her breath, maybe his heartbeat. It felt surreal, suspended outside of time. He sank to the ground, exhausted. She knelt across from him, knees folded, arms around her waist as if holding herself in. You could have left me back there, he said after a while. You didn't owe me anything. She gave a short laugh. You think that is how my kind loves? In transactions? His eyes met hers. Is that what this is? She looked away. No, that's why it's dangerous. The quiet settled again, but this time it felt fuller. Not heavy, but thick with things unsaid. Finally, he broke it. What's your name? She blinked. You don't know it? You never told me. Names are sacred among my kind. They bond. Once spoken aloud, they are remembered. He nodded. Then remember mine first. I'm Kale. Her eyes flickered. A small softness entered her features. Kale. She said it like it tasted new, like it meant something. Then after a breath, I am Virel. He repeated it gently. Virel. Something shifted between them. No queen, no hive, just breath and closeness and a name. She reached forward suddenly, not bold, not desperate, just true. Her fingers touched the line of dried paste still streaked across his collarbone. You are still warm, she whispered. So are you. Her hand paused, then dropped. Kale exhaled slowly, voice low. I can feel my heart more now than when we were running. Virel looked at him carefully. That's because you're no longer hiding. She rose to her knees and leaned forward. Her presence felt heavy, not in weight, but in gravity, like he might fall toward her without moving. You do not understand what you triggered when you looked at the queen, she said softly. He did not move. I'm starting to. Virel hesitated, then placed her hand flat over his chest, right above his heartbeat. There is still time to choose, but if you choose me instead of her, you must not hesitate, even once. He nodded, breath catching. I'm not hesitating now. And in the warmth of that spore-lit cave, surrounded by the scent of soil and memory, with danger outside and silence between them, Kale touched her hand, let it stay on his chest, and for one suspended moment, neither of them pulled away. The spores began to dim, one by one, not in warning, but in reverence. Kale could feel it in the air, a change, a hush. The jungle outside was breathing again, stretching its limbs, readying for the next act. Deep in the soil, far beneath their feet, the hive was stirring. Not in anger, but in desire. He and Virel had been quiet for too long, and the queen did not tolerate silence from her marked prey. Kale leaned against the smooth cave wall, his eyes on Virel as she moved across the chamber, her fingers brushing along the glowing veins that pulsed in the ceiling. She was trying to read something, signs maybe, or growth patterns he could not understand. But what he did understand was the way her body tensed when she thought he was not watching, the way she exhaled too slowly, the way her silence meant more than any words. I need to know, Kale said at last, his voice softer now. If I had not touched that dung, if I had just stood still when we first heard the hive, what would you have done? She froze. Her hand stopped midair, hovering over a faint blue vine. Then slowly she turned. Her eyes met his, and for the first time since they met, she did not look angry, or panicked, or controlled. She looked uncertain. I would have lied to you, she said. Kale blinked. What? I would have told you to run, to leave the jungle, to head west. I would have watched you go and waited for the queen to take you before you even knew her name. She stepped forward, not aggressively, not regretfully, just truthfully. Every step she took made the space between them warmer. I've seen it before. Humans who wander too far, who don't understand what this place wants from them. I'm not supposed to interfere. My people made treaties with the hive long ago. So why did you? He asked. Virel was right in front of him now. She looked at his mouth, then his eyes. Because you called me by name, she said, and you meant it. Outside, a long, low hum vibrated through the soil, the queen's voice, distant but rising. Virel pressed her palm to the ground. She's tracking emotional pulses. Our proximity, our hesitation. She's trying to make you crave her. Kale sat up straighter. Is that why this cave feels warmer every minute? Varel nodded. She's pressing in through the air, the dirt, the chemicals in your blood. She wants to link her pheromone rhythm to yours. If your heart syncs with hers, she'll have full access. He swallowed hard. So what do we do? Varel looked at him, long and slow. We anchor your rhythm to something else, something stronger. Kale's chest tightened. Like what? Her voice was almost a whisper. Like me. She stepped closer. Not suddenly, she was always careful, as if every movement she made had weight. Her fingers touched his jaw, tracing gently along the curve of it, like she was searching for a signal in his skin. I need you to look at me, she whispered. Only me. I am. No, I mean, see me. Kale's hands curled at his sides. The heat rising inside him now had nothing to do with the jungle. I've seen you since the first second, he said, but I didn't know how to understand you. Then let me show you. Her forehead pressed lightly to his, their eyes closed together, not in fear, not in lust, but in a strange, aching unity that neither of them could explain. Her breath touched his cheek. His chest rose against hers. Around them, the spores began to brighten again, not dimming now, but glowing brighter, responding not to danger, but connection. You're sinking, she said softly. Do you feel it? He nodded, barely able to speak. I feel like I can't fall. Good. That means we're doing it right. But then the ground shivered. The spores blinked rapidly, like fireflies in a storm. Varel opened her eyes. She found us. Kale straightened. What? You said she could not reach in here. She can't, but she doesn't have to. She'll draw us out. Suddenly, the spore cave began to thin, not collapse, but shift. Its edges liquefied, trembling like jelly in heat. It was not an attack. It was invitation. She's turning the forest into a lure, Varel said, backing away. And she knows the exact way to get your heart racing. Kale frowned. What's she showing me? Varel hesitated, and then said, You're home. He blinked. What? She's using the jungle's projection network. The spores linked to memory, desire. She's showing you whatever she can to pull you toward her. Kale turned. And suddenly he saw not jungle, not alien trees, but his childhood's street, wet asphalt, a dim purple sunset, the distant echo of a door slamming, his mother calling his name from the porch. He took one step toward it. Kale, Varel's voice was sharp now. That is not your home. That's a trap. He looked back at her. His legs trembled. It feels real. She's copying your memory and feeding it back. You have to choose what's real. He gritted his teeth. The street faded. And Varel's face, real, worried, glowing, came back into view. I choose you, he said. And the illusion shattered. Suddenly everything shook. The Hive Queen's true presence crashed down across the forest. No longer trying to be clever or subtle, she was coming. I have to do something, Kale said. Varel looked up. No, I will go. What? No. She will never kill you, Kale. She marked you. But me? I interfered. She'll punish me. And if I let her, she might spare you. He reached for her. You think I'd let you do that? You don't have a choice, she said quietly, stepping back toward the cave opening. I do. But Kale caught her hand. You once said naming someone creates a memory. Yes. Then I want her to remember mine. Without another word, he stepped in front of Varel and ran into the glowing jungle. The queen saw him instantly. The air around her cracked with gold. Her giant wings beat like thunder. She hovered above, 1,000 eyes locked onto him. He stopped in a clearing. And then he did something insane. He bowed. Not in submission, but in acknowledgement. I made a mistake, he said loudly. I didn't know what I was calling. But I do now. The queen pulsed. Kale looked up, heart racing. You don't want me. You want control, but that's not what I want. From the tree line, Varel stepped out stunned. You risked everything? For something real, he said. Not a chemical chain, not a forced mating. You, the queen shrieked. A burst of light exploded around her, spores gone mad, vines whipping, trees screaming in wind. But Kale stood still, and slowly the queen backed away. Not in defeat, but in recognition. She had been denied, and strangely, she respected that. The jungle fell quiet again. Varel walked up to him. Her hand slipped into his. You bowed to her, she said. Yeah. And she let you live. Kale smiled, exhausted. I think she saw it wasn't a surrender. It was goodbye. They stood there in the last light of the jungle. No more tricks, no more illusions. Just skin, breath, and one choice made for love, not survival. He did not move when her wings spread open. He should have run, any sane man would have, but sanity had left him the moment he saw her silhouette bathed in gold, not the fly queen, but her, Leora, half woman, half warrior, entirely impossible. The yellow sky pulsed like a dying heart as the great fly queen towered over him. Her translucent wings shimmered with pheromonal oils that twisted in the air clouds of scent, memory, and hunger. Her legs, long and curved, clicked on the hive chamber's marble stone. Her compound eyes studied him like a living relic. He swallowed. Still smeared in the scent, Leora said softly beside him, her voice distant as if carried through water. You really are the idiot they warned me about. He almost smiled. I thought it would blend me in, he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. Or make her think I belonged here. Leora's lips twitched. It did the opposite. You're glowing to her, human. She thinks you're deliciously ripe. Behind them, the hive pulsed gold and amber lights shifting like organs, alive and breathing. The drones hissed from the shadows. He could feel their multi-jointed claws twitching. Waiting. Hungry. He turned to Leora, not the queen, not the danger, just her. And you? He asked quietly. What do you think I am? She blinked once. Her pupils flared like a biochip warming up. A mistake, she whispered. But her hands, those careful, four-fingered alien hands, reached for him anyway. The queen let out a sound like clicking bones in heat stroke. The air trembled. She's going to feed, Leora said, pulling him behind a wall of silk-threaded roots. The moment their bodies touched, something between them shifted again. It had been shifting since the escape from the pit, since the cave, since she first yelled at him for being stupid enough to smear himself in fermented hive scent. But now her breath was close. He could smell her skin, not floral, not human, but like electric rain on stone. Something sharp, alive, strange. She looked at him the way no one had before, like he was fragile and reckless, and hers, even if she did not want him to be. I need to distract her, she said. You stay hidden. If she takes you, she will inject you with paralytic enzymes. You will not die quickly. Comforting. Her eyes flicked up. Don't joke, not now. He did not. Instead, he watched her wings unfold from her back. Not like the queen's, no. Leora's were smaller, denser, shimmering with violet veins and gold dust. They were a secret, something she usually kept folded under armor. Now they spread like promise. She stepped out, into the golden glow, into the buzz. He heard the fly queen hiss again, a sound like boiling sap. The drones surged forward, and the hive's breath grew thick. Leora bowed. Your Majesty, she said in the hive tongue, this male belongs to me. A ripple of silence. The queen paused, considered. Then, a hiss that translated into a challenge. Prove it. Leora did not hesitate. She turned, walked back to him, grabbed his face and kissed him. It was not soft. It was not careful. Her lips were cool and firm, and her breath tasted of something metallic and deep. But beneath it was heat, the raw, vibrating heat of something ancient, instinctive. Her hand tightened at the back of his neck. His arms went around her waist like they had always known where to go. When she pulled away, her eyes shimmered with emotion she could not name. She saw it, she said breathlessly. The Queen saw everything. You're claimed now. Claimed? Leora nodded once. Mated, spirit-marked. Insect royalty is ceremonial. Even symbolic acts imprint them. He blinked. So you just made me your bonded, she finished too fast. Technically. They stared at each other. He could not speak. Her cheeks flushed a dull gold, embarrassed. But the Queen screeched not in rage, but satisfaction. Her wings closed slowly like a curtain drawing shut. She turned, retreating into her chamber of light, her hunger pacified. The drones hissed and followed. It was over. Silence spread through the hive. They stood there, the buzz fading, her fingers still tangled in his hair. I did not want this, Leora whispered. He searched her face. But you did it anyway. She nodded. Because you are mine. He swallowed hard. So what does that mean? For real. It means you are stuck with me, she said, letting go. And I am stuck with someone who thinks dung is a good idea. They laughed. They had to. It broke the tension like warm rain. Together they stepped out of the hive through the amber glass doors and into the jungle mist that waited outside. The forest was quieter now. Even the trees seemed to hum less sharply. Bioluminescent flowers bowed as they passed, and the fog curled gently at their feet. He felt her walking close beside him, but not touching. Not yet. The kiss still lingered in the space between them, like static. He glanced at her. Are we really bonded? Leora sighed. The Queen saw it. Her perception organ captures more than light. It records energy signatures, heat, skin conductivity, even pupil dilation. So, she saw that I liked it? She smirked. She saw everything. He rubbed the back of his neck. Great. So I'm now emotionally compromised and culturally entangled with an insect monarchy. Leora stopped walking. Look, she said, her tone gentler than before. This was never supposed to happen. You were just another outsider who crashed into our perimeter. I was assigned to get rid of you. You almost did. But then you smeared yourself in pheromone-rich excrement, and I had no choice but to save you from being devoured alive. A classic love story. She rolled her eyes. No, a disaster. They stood in the glow of an alien tree, its roots pulsing like veins. He could see her wings retracting again, folding back under her shoulder plates. He stepped closer. You don't want this, he said softly, but you still kissed me. Her voice trembled, just slightly. Because you looked at me like I was more than a tool, more than my species. You are. A pause. Then, don't say that unless you mean it. He took her hand. Her alien fingers trembled, unsure. His thumb traced over the ridges in her palm. I mean it, he said. A long silence followed, the kind only the brave can hold. No music, no buzzing, just breath and rain and closeness. Finally, she whispered, then let's find out what happens when a man marked by the Queen tries to build a life with someone raised to hate him. They reached the transport cliff at dawn. The golden jungle turned lilac in the morning mist. In the distance, ships blinked through cloud cover. He looked out over the edge. So this is it? No, Leora said. This is the beginning. He turned. She stood behind him, her eyes wide, unsure but willing. Not fearless, that was never the point. Just choosing him anyway. He smiled. She stepped closer. This time, no kiss, just their foreheads touching. Just silence, skin and soul. Then they jumped, together, toward the unknown, toward the strange, messy, beautiful future they never asked for, but maybe, just maybe, were always meant to find. If this story made you feel something, a shiver, a smile, or just that ache of wanting more, then do not leave quietly. Tap like, share it with someone who still believes in strange love, and subscribe for more human hearts in alien worlds. Because somewhere out there, across stars or screens, Another story is waiting to find you. This was not just a tale. It was a memory you did not know you missed.